It's time to get on up with Jam and Renne. And here's your hosts, James Arthur M. and Renne Colvin.
Good morning.
It's just Renne. I don't know how that keeps happening. You just keep Beyonce me out of here.
I know. I keep pushing the push button, and then you get a push.
Gotcha. I gotta tell you, I was surprised to see. I wasn't sure if you were gonna be here for a second. I was surprised to see you, but now you're here. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
But now I'm here.
Well, welcome to Backchannel, everybody. The only place you can listen to, watch, and chat with your hosts live right here on your Echo device. You are watching Get On Up with Jam and Renne. I am your breakfast jam for the morning, James Arthur M.
And I am Renne Colvin. I'm now singing along with you on the intro. You know, because I know all the words. So I'm just like in my head. I'm like,
curious Get On Uppers who've been here before. You singing along to that. I love that morning tune.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Look what we've got. We're gonna do a roll call. It's a Friday roll call. You know, like to jazz it up. Shibuya, cha cha, Shibuya roll call. We got Amanda and Deborah McIntosh, Verona from New Hampshire, Sunny from Indiana, Bella from North Virginia, and Austin from New York. Don't forget Sarah's in New Mexico, Doug from Ohio, Nathan and sometimes C in Texas, Jennifer Lopez, New York, Jennifer the Black, Cole, South Carolina, Verona, again, North New Hampshire. They got 2 devices. Ivan, also from somewhere, Michael from Virginia, and Banana. We want some more bananas.
Okay. I love it.
That gave you time to get a little coffee sip. I saw you.
Thank you. I loved it. I love it. You know what I was thinking during that is that you had
a lot of time.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy everybody's here, you guys. I'm so excited to see you. I was thinking about how there's so many good morning, and all the songs that we sing to people as they are waking up. And as the person delivering the tune, you're like, you're welcome. This is a perfect way to wake up. But as a person who is waking up, you're like, so help me God. If you stop with your cheer. So I was curious about the roll call. I hope that everyone is already up, they're awake, and then they're just like, I loved it.
And kind of amazing if we are their alarm clock. Like their alarm automatically wakes up to get on up on Backchannel. And then you just hear this roll call and you're like, it's like the Mickey Mouse Club. You're like, oh, I gotta get out of bed. Like I'm sure Verona's up running around now.
But I'm curious, Get On Uppers, do you like to be woken up with a sing song? Because I think the people would stop doing it if other people didn't like it.
Is this a note for me? Are you going to be a note everybody, what do you think? I'm just curious. I know I don't like it. This is the
origin of it. Jam is so charming. I would love to be woken up with that, but I don't usually like to be woken up like that. Oh, I wonder. So that was the
okay. My follow-up question is: would you like me to call you in the mornings and be like, Renne is waking up
from Los Angeles? Renne? Press snooze too many times.
Did you have a fight with your alarm clock this morning?
I had a little fight with my alarm clock this morning.
Whoa! I do one and done. I give and I build it in. I know I'm gonna hit snooze, so I wait 5 o'clock, but I'm up by 5:10. That's it.
No, that's the way. So you allow yourself one snooze. Meaning that's the one and done. One snooze.
I will sometimes if I'm feeling saucy, I'll give myself a second one. Get On Uppers. First question of the day. Do you have a fight with your alarm clock? Are you right up? How many times do you hit snooze? And you can just into your device, this interactive show. We love to hear from you. Into your device, go echo, say is the magic word. Whatever you say after say, we'll see it in the chat. Echo, say. I fight with my alarm clock every day. Say, I be winning that fight. Say, I hit snooze 7 times.
Yeah, or just give me the number. Say 45. 40. I hit snooze 45 times.
Do you know what follow-up question?
Yes.
I'm playing Barbara Walters. Follow-up question.
Please.
I don't think Barbara Walters was she a good interviewer? I don't get the hype.
I don't know. I think the words coming out that she was
questions.
But I think that we've talked to enough people. I don't think she's very nice. I think she's kind of a jerk. She had to be. She had to be because she was breaking
that world. Yeah, breaking those glass ceilings.
Right. But also, One very nice.
Okay, fair.
Continue.
Well, follow-up question. Do you know that you're going to hit snooze several times, or do you surprise yourself? Or like, you're like, today I'm going to get right on up. Or like, you'll say tomorrow, you'll be like, I'm going to get right up. I won't hit snooze. And then you're in it and you hit it.
Yeah. Do you want to hear the weirdest thing that works? Yeah. So it is, I'm snooze as many times as it will allow. And then, yes. Mm-hmm.
You see, Doug never hits snooze. Right on up.
From Doug. I get it. Never hit snooze from Doug.
The hardest part of waking up is getting up. That's what I always say. And that's why that's why we titled the show, Get On Up. We're here
Get on up. Get on up. The Folgers jingle. Hardest part of waking up is getting up. So this is nuts. But if I don't, and as I say this, I don't even know if I can look at you as I say this. If I don't do a dress rehearsal, meaning the night before I lay down and I practice beep, 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 and I get up and I push the alarm and I go to the bathroom. And then I do that twice. So if I rehearse, I'm just going to get up, then I will do it. And if I don't rehearse it, I won't do it. Isn't that weird?
You're a performer. Life is a stage.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
You're a performer. You're like, I have to practice getting up the next day. But you've already done it before. I think you're ready. I think opening night, you're ready. Yeah,
maybe you don't need to rehearse anymore. You know your lines. Your lines are don't push snooze. All right. Okay.
I love it. Wait, it's twice. You have to do it twice.
I have to do it twice. I know. That's probably tipping into OCD territory.
You've made the mistake of like you did it once and you
only did it once. No. And that was luck.
Well, Tim says that my alarm my alarm is music, so I don't snooze, but I can lay there quite a while. I feel like I used to wake up to music. Tim, you're inspiring me. I think my neighbors would appreciate that. I'm curious, Tim, do you have a specific song? I used to have a Janet Jackson song called "Come On Get Up, Baby, Before You Make Me Change My Mind." And then I go back. That's the song. Come on, get up.
Okay. Oh, that's a very good one. I get it.
Or sometimes the verve, it's just a bittersweet symphony.
That's nice.
Because it's got the violins. Dun, 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 dun,
light. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you, of the alarm option, because I use my phone to get up. Do you have an alarm clock, a separate alarm clock?
Oh, what am I? In the 50s? No, use my phone. Use my phone.
Do you do it with a song or do you do it with the options that the phone has provided you?
The little options. They're not fun. I don't do, what is alarming? When people use the like submarine sinking noise.
Yeah.
Have you ever, I had a roommate who was like, it was like, bah, bah. It was like the bombs were going off. Do you know that one?
You cannot have it. You cannot. So what do you choose? What do you use for yours?
It's like a dude. It's chimes. I use the chimes.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, mine is like church bells. It's bong.
Just waiting for the wedding. Bong. Is that you manifesting? Today's the day I'm gonna get married. Wedding bells. You wake up to the sound of wedding bells every day.
Yeah, that's the rehearsal. Exactly. I grab my bouquet. I put on the dress.
I love it. Renne,
you gotta rehearse
life that you want. Life, all right. Show's on. Okay. Speaking of, the show is on. We've been on for 10 minutes. We haven't even told you what we're doing for today.
Okay. All right.
It's Friday. So it's Friday. We're gonna do a Friday check-in. We want to know, Get On Uppers, what are you getting into this weekend? What's got you excited? Then we got celebrity birthday quiz, but handing over the keys, Renne's in charge today.
Yes, but also our producer Sarah does all the work, so Renne's just going to look at the spreadsheet that Sarah made, which is easy. It's easy, but so I am in charge.
I have to guess the answer, so the shoe is on the other foot.
Very excited.
Then we have our Black History Month moment today. It is Rosa Parks would be her birthday today, and so we talked about Rosa Parks yesterday. We had a deep dive on her. Remember, we did myth bust. You thought you knew her, you did not know her, but also there was someone who did it before her, sitting on the bus refusing to get above her seat. It was Claudette Colvin. So we're going to dive into Claudette Colvin.
I love this. So great. Yeah, gosh, you guys, I think the show's on YouTube. So if you don't know about Rosa Parks, go back and listen to that. I learned so much yesterday. It was great. I loved it. And then also some highlights of the week, the highlight headlines of the week. What has happened this week? What's going on? Look at you.
We're gonna catch you up. Maybe some things that you missed. Don't worry, we got you. And then now I'm back as Quizmaster. Fact Friday with Jam, Ya Lion, Janet Jackson edition. Prepping for Janet Jackson Appreciation Day is next Sunday. Some people call it the Super Bowl, but the rest of us call it Janet Jackson Appreciation Day.
Yeah,
and it's just Janet Jackson Appreciation Week. Her documentary just came out, so we're gonna see some facts, or I could be lying about Janet Jackson. We're gonna set the record straight.
Cannot wait. When it comes to Super Bowl talk, just a quick detour. It's Loose Friday, Jam. I don't know if you heard.
No.
I've deemed this Loose Friday.
Schedule out the window.
I didn't know that the Super Bowl is in Inglewood, and I live in Los Angeles. And so yesterday, this idiot was like, "Oh gosh, well it's close. I should go." I just get a ticket. So then I googled Super Bowl tickets. They're like $6,000. I was just very, very charmed at my ignorant self. I was like, "Well, I should pop by."
Oh my god! You just show up. Hi, I'm here for the game.
Yeah.
Do I need a ticket?
I don't know. I'm a SoCal resident. Should I show you my?
Here's my ID. Here's my water bill statement. You can see I live
Deeply,
here, so I'll just walk right in.
I'll just come on through. Thank you so much. Deeply convinced that much like the Universal Studios, I could just be like, "No, I'm a SoCal resident. Where do I go up front or
Go
where?"
on in. Renne, I love your charm. But at least it wasn't sold out. Yesterday, Renne kept hitting everything she wanted was sold out. Here's this thing that you didn't really want. You could go.
Yeah.
You could go.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Okay, Jam, continue along with the show. What else is happening?
We're gonna wrap up the day with Forget About It Friday, and then what we're leaving in the week, maybe even some gratitudes, and then Renne's got some highlights. You know, if you missed anything from the week, Renne's gonna take notes. So
I'll catch up. I gotcha. Yes. And then obviously ending with gratitude. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Renne, hit us with our segment song.
Oh, what are you doing this weekend? What are you doing this weekend? We all want to know. What are you doing this weekend? Is that it?
How you do? Maybe it was my fault. I had assumed. Okay, when we were rehearsing the show weeks ago. It was everybody's working for the weekend.
Have not.
And every week you've never been able to do it.
Okay,
and you do it so well. You do it so well. And every time, like, Renne, hit us with the Friday song. It's the weekend. It's the weekend.
Certainly one doesn't already exist. I'm so sorry. Will you allow me to try a take two? Or I've learned my lesson. I need to get the corner.
No, we're gonna power on. We don't have time. All right. Okay. So we don't have time for Renne. Everybody, what are you doing for the weekend? As Renne's song kind of led us to. What are you doing for the weekend? You can shout it out into your device. Say, I'm going to the Super Bowl, which is I'm gonna go buy my ticket for the Super Bowl.
Right.
Next week. Yeah. You can say into your device, and can't wait to see what y'all are up to. Renne,
this weekend.
What are you up to?
Yes. I want to know. And I've really been quiet about this week, and I should probably turn up the volume. I got a new job. I haven't mentioned it in days.
You mentioned it this week, actually. So kudos.
Yeah. I know. But I think so. The senioritis of the current job has as evidenced in today's show, has lulled me into a senior, like I haven't put on pants in a while, like just so lazy. So this weekend, I'm going to start to prep for that job, start to create the morning routine that would serve me well in that job, get my act together. I'm gonna reparent myself and have a little conversation of just like, how can I best set you up for success, Renne? And I will say, keep scrolling on TikTok, and then I will say, no, I don't think that's the answer. And then I'll stop.
Wow. Renne, I love this. You've got such a productive adult weekend. Can't wait to circle back on Monday and do a check-in and
see what happens.
How it goes.
See what happens. How about you? What are you getting into this weekend?
Oi. I have 2 dates this weekekend. Yeah, I don't know how I went on
with the same person, 2 different people.
No, 2 different people. My therapist says I have to start dating, so I'm trying. One's on Friday today.
Yeah. Oh, great.
We're going to some concert. I don't know. They wanted to go. I don't know. I think I'm gonna tell this person that we're just friends, because I've known them for a long time, and I think it's gonna be. And I'm practicing boundaries, right? So I'm just gonna be like, "Hey, I love you as a friend, platonically."
And And you
So
are
just
very
like
good at announcing that to people. I think you'll be fine.
yeah, I had some practice saying that on air to somebody. I would like to welcome Tom and Nancy just joined. This is their first time here on Get It Up. So welcome. I'm Jam. This is Renee. We're just talking about our
Hello.
weekend plans. We'd love to hear from you. You can enter your device, say, I'm going to Margaritaville, and we will be oh so jealous. So that's one day. And then I'm going hiking on Sunday with Guy from gym who was like,
Nice.
let me get your number, essentially. And I don't know.
I didn't know that people meet in the real world still. I love it. This is a story of inspiration for me. I love this. I'm very excited about it. I think it'll be fun.
You know, it's weird. This is the second date. I don't normally have like anxiety or nerves around a date, but this guy is so, I don't know. He's very, very muscular. I don't know. He's a very attractive man. And I'm like, where is this going? This can't, no. He's out of my league, but just in a different game. We're in a different game.
Okay.
We're in a different game.
Well, but I'm glad that you're getting more information. I feel from what I hear is that's all dating is. It's just getting information about a person to either be like, oh, you're my person, or whittle it into, not my person, but now I have enough information to make an informed decision about it. I think it's great. I think it's great.
Yep. Well, I love it because Doug has chimed in, and that Doug was supposed to go. You like, I was like,
anytime I give advice, Jam's like, next. All right.
No, I just am less curious about my own self, and I'm curious. You know, when the Get On Uppers chime in, I just stop listening to anything. Even the words that are coming out of my own mouth, I'm just like, this is what I'm saying is not important. But Doug has weekend plans, and this weekend Doug is supposed to go to a birthday party. Oh, but it was canceled due to weather. And Doug, you are in Ohio. Ooh, yes, they're getting some. Oh, Renee showed us the weather forecast.
Sure did.
And it's like 85% of the country. Pretty much it's like California and Washington are fine.
The Weather Channel predicted that 90 million people will be affected by this insane weather storm that's coming through. I know. All right. Well, Doug, that person owes you cake. Once the weather's better, demand cake from them. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 19 degrees in Ohio.
Nope, don't like it. Don't like it.
You.
Can we get you on a plane? Can we get you on a plane out here, Doug? Come on over to the Get On Up camp. We'll keep you. We don't have that here. It's not. We've outlawed weather below like 35. It can get chilly.
Yeah, we can't have it. We can't have it. But you know what, Doug? I think in honor of the birthday that you're going to miss, would it help? Just pitching. Would it be a salve to hear about some celebrity birthdays? Would that soften the blow a little bit?
Here, I'll do the song.
Please
celebrity birthdays, celebrity birthdays. They have them just like us. Did I hope? I made it.
You nailed it. It's fun, right? It's fun.
Happy birthday to
there you go. There you go.
Happy birthday to you. What about me? Gave you a little Effie.
You nailed it.
Why not?
You absolutely nailed it. You nailed it. We should probably at some point do a Dream Girls appreciation segment. Ongoing.
We do a lot of Dream Girls behind the scenes.
Yeah,
you would think we were rehearsing for an off Broadway production of Dream Girls.
You would think. Just delightful. But I want to celebrate our celebrities who are having a birthday. Jam, you mentioned the first one, and I would love to just highlight it a little bit more. Today is Rosa Parks' birthday. Rosa Parks. Pew pew pew. Pew pew pew. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. Okay.
We will not sing that Outcast song.
No.
Oh, no. What's that post? Everybody move. Nope. No, we won't sing it. She sued them over it.
Know that existed. I didn't even know that it existed. But Rosa Parks died at age 92. So there she is. There's our gal. There.
What was the year? Do we have what year?
You said 2005 last.
It's amazing that we got to like walk the same earth as Rosa Parks at one point. What a time to be alive. 2005. Yep.
2005. Yep. See, you know what's so funny, Jam? Did you hear me say that from memory? If you teach somebody something in a quiz, it retains. It's the craziest thing.
So don't Google or try to cheat during these quizzes is what I'm
Yes.
hearing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Renee's
Just remind me
learned.
of that. Remind me.
Okay.
The phrase is 2005, and I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I did learn.
Yep.
I learned
Yep.
something.
See,
I learned
you
something."
did.
Now, can I tell you, one of my favorite singers from one of my favorite songs? It is Natalie and Brulia's 47th birthday today. Very excited.
Oh.
Natalie and Brulia, we love her so much. I feel like her song "Torn" is the
Oh.
greatest uniter. Nothing's fine, I'm torn. I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel.
I don't
I
remember
think.
it being that aggressive.
Oh, sure. Okay.
It's a little lighter. I know how to play. This
Yeah.
is how I play. It's a little more lighter, right?
It's a little
When you
lighter.
sing it, you're pretty angry because you walked. You remember from
Yes.
yesterday, Renee,
Right.
if someone's breaking up with her, she just quietly leaves and then
Yep.
angrily sings
Yeah.
Torn in her bedroom.
And it is, yeah, it's not fun for anybody. It's not fun for anybody. But because of this Torn song, are you ready for your question?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's questions, so we're all going to learn. I did not know this. That Torn is not an original Natalie and Brulia song. It was previously sung by someone else. And that is your question. You and Get On Uppers, do you know who originally sang the song Torn in honor of Natalie and Brulia's birthday?
Yep. All right, Get On Uppers. If you have any guesses, you just go into your device and you go say share for an example. I'm not saying that's my answer. Or you could say Stevie Nicks.
Sure.
Or you could say, I'm testing the water to see if I get a
Mhm.
reaction out of you. Look at that stone cold poker face.
Mhm.
I'm going to say, it's got a country twang to it. So I think Dolly Parton. That's what I'm going to say.
I love
think
it.
was
I love it.
originally
I think that's
a
great.
Dolly Parton bop. Can you hear that? And something
could.
right, I'm torn.
Yeah,
Banjo,
I can see that.
banjo.
I could absolutely see that.
That's the sound that a banjo makes.
I'm gonna say, just because I hadn't heard of this group before, Edna Swap, a band called Edna Swap. Isn't that interesting?
Edna Swap. Nope, never heard
Yeah.
them before.
Yeah, I know. I guess a pop group that was popular at some point.
Listen,
they were
they
the
could
original
be
singers of such a thing.
walking down the street of the Castro. I could walk by them and I wouldn't know who they were.
And you wouldn't know.
Sorry to this
And
group.
you
They
would
are
not
the
know.
They are the Dick Cheney to my Kiki Palmer. I don't know this man. Sorry to this man.
Don't know it.
I
Don't know it.
Don't know.
All right. Well, listen, that's not the only singer among us who is having a birthday. It is also Alice Cooper's 74th birthday.
Oh,
Alice
yeah.
Cooper turning 74 today.
And he was in Wayne's World that I recently watched.
Yeah.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
You probably. Yes.
You got a shout out
your
from
jam.
Tim. Tim thinks that your angry version was the original. So
Thank
maybe
you, Tim. Thank you.
you did the original, not Edna Poppinskins.
No, we didn't need it. Yes, I am the
Edna
original.
Mole.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So today is Alice Cooper's birthday. Another song question coming at you. Do you know the song that he wrote about school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
School's out for summer.
Didn't even let the Get On Uppers chime on in. Okay.
School's out for summer.
Nailed it.
Was that the one?
Yes. That's it. That's it exactly.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Get On Uppers. I Beyonce'd this. I took the mic and y'all were just on the show. Sorry about that.
You nailed it.
Sorry.
No, I think they agree. They know it. They love it. Everybody needs a moment to sit back and be like, Jam, you got this one. And you did.
Yeah,
thank you did. It is also Hannibal Buress's 39th birthday. Hannibal Buress, phenomenal comic. We love him so much. Stand-up comic who was very, very groundbreaking in the reveal of Cosby and who he is. Said he started it at one of his stand-up shows and was just like, guys, I don't think this guy's as great as you think he is. If you go to YouTube, you'll see that he was one of the first people to do it. Hannibal Buress, we love him so much. We love him so much. Okay. Now,
Yes.
Do you know? Do you know what fame? Well, this is me making sure that we're all on the same page of watching Hannibal Buress's TV show. Do you know what show he was on? That's a pre-question, and then there's a follow-up question. What TV show?
Yeah, he was
Hannibal
on
Buress was
the Hannibal Buress show.
Sure. Also called Broad City.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not called the Hannibal Buress show.
No.
Because yeah, that was starring those two ladies.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But I think we're going to need to get more details about that in the show Broad City. What was his character's name and who did he date in the show Broad City? Are you guys Broad City watchers? Do you guys watch that one?
I've seen an episode. I'm gonna
Okay.
Stacy just in time to help me out with this
Yes.
question. It's Hannibal Buress's birthday. He was on a show called Broad City, and he dated one of the character ladies, and he had a name on the show. And we're trying to
Yes.
figure out those two parts. I think he dated. What's her name? Alicia Gleiser. Is that somebody?
That's pretty close. Yeah,
Okay.
Alana, I think.
Alana
Yeah.
Glazer. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Sure.
say that because she's the only one I can remember.
Okay. Good.
And get on uppers. You can chime on in. Tim, where you at? Come on, Tim. Doug, anybody? Hello.
Anybody?
Let's see. His name was Calvin Coolidge.
Perfect. Very close. Very, very close. And Stacy is here. Stacy, we're so happy to see you. Only here for a little bit on Fridays, but Stacy
Which I
here.
appreciate. You still
just
dipped right
popped
on in. Just to say hi before the weekend
very
kicks
funny with
off.
the Calvin Coolidge. I think you know it's a president. His name was Lincoln on the show. Hannibal Buress played Lincoln on Broad City. Happy 39th birthday to Hannibal Buress.
Totally knew it was the president. I knew. I was like, yeah, I remember when I watched. Okay, it's been a while. It's been a while since I saw that one. Since I saw that one episode.
I love it. All right, and I think that does it for today's birthdays. Happy birthday to you, celebrities. Get on uppers. If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. I got one right, so I feel good. Feeling good about that.
You should feel good about that.
One
you should
is
feel
better
good about
than
that.
none. So 25%. I'll take it. I didn't get a 0. Welcome, Mickey. First time here on our show. Get on up. We are just going to dive in now into our Black History Month moment. So yesterday we talked about Rosa Parks, and one of the myths that we busted that she was like the first person, to really kick off this, bus boycott. That is not factual at all.
Right.
Not at all is that true. So today we're going to talk about the unsung hero of Claudette Colvin. I'm wondering, everybody, have you ever heard about Claudette Colvin until I mentioned her yesterday?
No.
Okay.
I wish that I had, but no, I hadn't.
I will tell you, I hadn't heard of her either until I watched. There's a really great drunk history that they do about her. I love me some drunk history.
So good. It's such a good way to learn.
A little bit of taste there. So, all right. So we've got Claudette Colvin. She did it before Rosa Parks. It happened before Rosa Parks, about I think it was about a year or so before Rosa Parks. And so she was 15. She was 15 years old. So we have a little picture of Claudette Colvin. There she is. Look at her. The 15 years old.
Looking great.
And bad things are about to happen to her. So, so adorable. Sure. This is like, yeah. So that's Claudette Colvin. She was 15 years old, and she refused to move to the back of the bus she refused to give up her seat to a white person. Sound familiar? And this happened 9 months before Rosa Parks did the same thing. So it was March 2nd, 1955.
Okay.
So she was taking the bus home from high school, and it just so happened to be Negro Week. So we talked about early on this week that Black History Month originally started as Negro Week around the time of President Lincoln's birthday and Frederick Douglass's birthday. That was like a celebration of just Black history and culture, because they just weren't being taught, any of their lineage and celebration. So she was feeling pretty fired up that day, right? Because she's learning all about like her people, right? So
of course,
was studying Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, who was a former slave who became an abolitionist and women's rights activist. So she is feeling herself and just being like, I'm pumped up. I'm gonna do some things in my life. And her class had been talking about injustices that they were even experiencing daily. So they're like, she's living in the South. She's experiencing Jim Crow firsthand. And so they're talking about it. This is so wild to me. This is kind of the scuttlebutt of the day that these kids were talking about. Like, oh yeah, I was denied entry into this diner, or I had someone call me this word. Like, this is their life. They weren't able to eat at certain lunch counters. They weren't able to try on clothes or shoes. I guess they would have to, if they went to a shoe store, they weren't allowed to try on shoes. Because people just thought Black people are dirty and they're gross or whatever. So they would have to trace their foot on a brown paper bag, and they would be like, oh, this is my shoe size, and then they would match it up. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, she feeling fired up. Okay.
Yeah.
Negro week, she's feeling fired up. And so then the bus driver ordered her to give up her seat, because they're like, and this is the law at the time. And I was reading this too, that bus drivers were pretty much given the authority of cops pretty much to enforce, these laws. They're also, and people sometimes get a little taste of power.
Yep. They go crazy. No, we learned that yesterday. Yeah.
Especially a bus driver. No offense to our bus drivers out there, but if you had an unruly school bus driver.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah. They love it. They love it.
Some good. Not all bus drivers. Okay. Do you want to
Certainly
say?
not. Certainly
not.
All
bus drivers. We love you. We
we've heard of this week. Not great.
Sarah, let's not reveal this one quite yet, because we're still talking about 15-year-old Claudette Colvin. But thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. We can just keep that other one up for now. That's fine. Not this one either. There we go.
Yeah,
we'll
there
just
we
sit
go.
right here. Totally fine. So she was like, they were like, you're gonna arrest her, and she was like, well, I'm not gonna walk off the bus voluntarily. So she was like, I'm not gonna walk off the bus voluntarily. And she said that her head was just too full of Black history. She was thinking about all the oppression that her ancestors had went through, and even her. I think we do have this one, Sarah, that's a quote. And she said, I felt like Sojourner Truth was on one side pushing me down, and Harriet Tubman was on the other side pushing me down. I couldn't get up. And we have this quote here for her.
Yeah.
But why didn't you hear about Claudette? Right? Isn't that interesting? You're like, why didn't I hear about her?
Yeah.
Wow. Again, the NAACP was looking for the right candidate to be their poster child of this movement, to be like, look what happened. Seemed like a great candidate. A 15-year-old girl got arrested. This is outrageous. But the NAACP and all the other Black organizations felt that Rosa Parks would be a good icon, because she was an adult. And so they, also didn't want to put a child through that. She was also, colorism came into play. Rosa Parks is lighter skinned.
Oh, God.
And so there is that also comes into play. Colorism is a very real thing. Even so to this day, that you don't see young, dark skinned Black girls on television. They're usually lighter skinned, and it's progress in some ways. You got the Zendayas, you've got, all these other wonderful actresses out there who are doing great stuff, but you're not seeing a lot of darker skinned girls to this day.
Right.
And they just didn't think a teenager would also be reliable. They're like, oh, she'll be flighty. And then, she also got pregnant. She had a teenage pregnancy. So they're like, she cannot be the poster child. But I have so Claudette Colvin. So I have some news for you. Some updated news about Claudette
I would love
Colvin.
to hear. Yes, please.
So just back in December of 2021. So
3 months ago.
Just 3 months ago. So what ended up happening was she at that moment she got charged with assaulting a police officer by a juvenile judge who labeled her a delinquent and sentenced her to probation. So just back in December, her record was finally expunged by the Montgomery County Juvenile Court. So now, Sarah, we can show some modern day pictures of Claudette. That works. But yeah, her record was finally expunged so this 66 years after she was wrongly labeled a delinquent for demanding to be treated with dignity. And so this represents a significant step in Alabama's acknowledgement that there were these terrible laws that existed back in 1985. They're saying, oh yeah, this was actually really unfair. So there's kind of this really great moment of this acknowledgement that this was a bad law. It was a terrible law, a dehumanizing law. And this was laws that, these things were happening to, Claudette was not the only one. Rosa Parks was not the only one. And there were many other women. And also too, on the one end, this is great that her record is being expunged, but doesn't erase the trauma that she and her family experienced. They were also harassed after this. It just was, and just 15 years old having to go through this.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Yeah. So, and there are other instances too. You can look up Viola White, who is 1944, a Montgomery resident who was beaten and arrested when she did not give up her seat. Also, Epsy Worthy, who in 1951, this is going to be fascinating, Renee.
I'm listening.
So she had exited the bus, and the bus driver followed her off the bus. This is not actually the one that I'm thinking of, but the bus driver. Okay, but this is okay. Sorry to backtrack.
Yeah,
So the bus
you
driver
got it.
followed her off, and he hit her, and then she was the one that was arrested, right? She
God.
walked out the bus, he followed her. These bus drivers was like this unruly power.
Monsters. Yeah.
And then, so welcome to Aaron and JoJo. We are talking about Claudette Colvin, who 9 months before Rosa Parks, at 15 years old, had refused to give up her seat. And we're just acknowledging and celebrating her. She just recently in December had her record expunged because they're like, oh, this law was really bad. Sorry about that.
Right.
And then in June of 1955, 3 months after Colvin's arrest and 6 months before Rosa Parks' arrest, there was Lucille Times, who she actually just died back in 2021. And so she was driving her car when she had an altercation with the bus driver who would eventually have the altercation with Rosa Parks. So this bus driver
This bus driver.
had
His name is
pattern
Blake.
of
What's
behavior.
his name? Let's shame him.
Get the bell. Get the bell, everybody. Get the bell. Shame, shame, shame.
But justifiably.
I like your thinking, Renee. What's his name? Let's shame him. So all of a sudden he's like trending on Twitter, and it's like shame.
All because
shame
of us.
bus
All
driver.
because of us. He deserves it and he knows it.
Absolutely. And so yeah, he was also trying to run Times off the road. I don't understand how this like happened, because then she was also driving and he was trying to run her off the road.
Oh my God.
He attacked her, and it's really bad. So she and her husband were like, this is a mess, and they actually started their own but a one-woman boycott. So she was like, I'm not riding the bus. And so she boycotted herself. And so she would also then start, her and her husband would give with free rides to Black commuters, and her husband would take donations, and then the eventual big Montgomery bus boycott started. But she was like,
absolutely not.
There we go. And Sarah, do we have the picture? There's a cute little picture of both. I think it's the first one. It should be the first one in the folder of Claudette then and Claudette now. It's a cute little picture. I don't know if we can put it up, but I do want to just celebrate. That is Claudette Colvin.
Look at that. That's such a good moment. Yeah, I mean, it's but it's good to know about that. So wait, dude, Claudette's still with us?
She's still live today. She is still live today. I will definitely double check, but I believe she's still. I saw nothing of a passing date.
That's cool. And I'm just
alive. 82.
Look at that.
There she is. Oh, there it is.
Great.
That blue one right there with the blue right there. Second row. Boop, boop, boop. There it is.
We got it. We got it. Very cool.
Yes, 82 years old. 82 years old. There she is then
great.
And now. Love it.
And I'm glad, because we are notorious, we being America, for fixing stuff after people die. But I'm glad that she got to see expunged. Okay, great.
That happened with Bayard Rustin, who we talked about, gay Black activist who organized the I Have a Dream March, the March for Jobs and Freedom, and who was arrested because he was, doing having love in the park, giving love in the park, having some an entanglement in the park.
Right.
But he got arrested, and he had this thing on his record, but it wasn't until Obama had then gotten that off of his record, which is nice. But
yeah, it's it's too little too late, but it's nice to show some type of effort. Very, very cool. I'm loving these Black History moments. It's great. I've learned so much this week. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I love it.
absolutely.
I love it. Now listen, something that is tried and true is that our love for alliteration has not died. We still love it so much. Yes.
You set this up with the Get On Uppers. I want you to just take them on a story and a journey.
Yes, I would love nothing more. So flashback, a little bit of a flashback Friday, if you please. Now, for us, what that means is just like, it's time to get nostalgic. What are the things that you remember as a kid? What makes you feel so warm and snuggly? So today what we're asking is, what were your fears as a kiddo. I was such a scaredy cat. And I'm curious, Get On Uppers, if you also were just like, oh my God, so many irrational fears. So if you had something that you were terrified of as a kid, let us know because we'd love to talk about it. Again, what you do, you say to your device, say, I was terrified of, and I will kick the ball. I will start the ball rolling. The ball will be moved as I tell you that my first fear that I had as a kid, like a preschooler, I was terrified of the fire alarm because we would have little fire drills in preschool to the point where I would just be hysterical in the little room. I remember being terrified because of the loud noise. I was so scared of loud noises. Were you guys scared of loud noises when you were kiddos? Thunder. Stacy says, also scared of, and Gavin, so happy to see ya. Stacy is saying that they were terrified of thunder when they were a kid. Were you scared of loud noises, Jam?
I gotta tell you, that's why I had to run away. This topic was too scary for me. I was like, I've got to go. I'm not ready. I had to go prepare myself.
Can't handle it. I cannot handle it.
To trauma.
Yep.
It's interesting about you. I forgot about the fire alarm, Renee, because trauma. We used to get. This is gonna go to a dark place.
Yes.
We used to get a lot of bomb threats when I was in the first grade. And remember in the 90s, bomb threats were all the rage.
Yeah.
Remember the Unabomber, like. Bombs.
Yeah.
And so we would get bomb threats at our elementary school, and we would have to evacuate. And I was in the first grade, and just remember it happened frequently.
Yeah.
Who like bomb threats since elementary school? I don't know. Prank calling maybe somebody. I don't know. It never happened.
Right. But no, it's, I mean, and it really, your heart goes out to the kids today that we're doing all these like live shooter drills. I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
But they are saving lives too. Like you had the incident with the in Texas with the synagogue and the Jewish rabbi, his active shooter training kicked in. Right. I mean, it's terrible that we have to train. It's like, oh well, how about people just don't go on rampages and murder and shoot people?
Yeah, we want to start with that.
We could, but I guess we can't start there. We have to go to how to protect ourselves. So
truly. But yeah, God, I was such a scared cat. So loud noises terrified me. I couldn't handle it. And I think it was because for some reason wasn't that scared of fireworks like that I could process. So I think it was a loud noise that I wasn't in control of. I was just like, oh, this is going to startle me. I'm going to be startled by this, and I do not care for it. Also, petrified of roller coasters.
Really?
Such a dumb thing.
What about now? Are you do it now? You're like zip-zapping around.
I love it. I love a theme park now, but my poor parents would take us to theme parks, and I wouldn't ride anything because I didn't like the feeling of dropping. And I wouldn't do it. But then I'll tell you what, the way to get yourself healed from being scared of roller coasters, go to junior high, have a boy that you have a crush on, say, do you want to ride this terrifying ride? And you'll be like, I've never been afraid of roller coasters. I wouldn't know what you're talking about. I love roller coasters. My favorite.
Oh my God. I love it. Isn't that also how you ended up on like a softball team?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Great.
Yep, exactly. Cute boys. Well, I mean, all right. I guess I'll face this now. The things that I will do for a cute boy. My goodness gracious.
Well, Aaron, also, I love it. We're confessing our fears. We're getting to know each other. Aaron, so they were scared of dogs for a long time because a dog knocked me over when I was little. See? That trauma.
Sense. Yeah. I have to tell you that I want to work on this. And Aaron, if we were friends, I would respect you. But if a stranger comes up and is scared of my dog, it's right there. I zero empathy, none. I'm just like, well, get over it. I don't know what
my dog's the sweetest. Okay, what's your deal? Your trauma? I don't care. See a therapist. I do like that you check yourself because you probably read Aaron's thing and you're like, see inside. Yeah. Oh, Aaron, get over it. And then it's like, okay,
No, I'm actively aware that I need to be more respectful of people's fears.
He told you he was a kid.
Is this a baby?
And he said, I was scared. So he has worked through it.
Justifiably.
You guys can be friends.
Justifiably. Yeah, and people have legitimate fears of dogs. Because I love them, I'm just like, well, that doesn't compute with me. Insane.
Figure it out, okay? Tugboat. His name is Tugboat,
Thank
okay?
you. Thank
Oh,
you.
man. Well, I will say my roommate's monstrous dog is back, and if you were here last week,
Oh,
she
right.
barks. Miss Tonka likes to bark. She
Wait,
likes to bark
have
a
we
lot.
tried the food
Yeah, I
idea
gave her some
of
treats, and then the other day I came out and I gave her some treats. So
yeah,
my roommate's dog be barking all at
right.
me, even though I lived here and it's been 18 months. The dog's not here all the time.
Sure.
That's also probably
Yeah,
part of the problem. But yeah, Renee was like, "Oh, just give it some treats," and I did. And then
right.
she's very much, "What have you done for me lately? I don't know you. I don't know you."
That's
She
fair.
turns
Wait, but
me into she's Kiki Palmer.
yeah,
I'm Dick Cheney, and she has no
yeah.
idea who I am. Sorry to
And
this
this is
man.
a very, very, very heavy lift. But I think the thing is you have to talk to your roommate about the Tonka doesn't eat unless you give her food, including her breakfast and her
Mm,
lunch and her dinner and her water, like all of that. Like
mm.
you are now the resource for food. I think we'll
I
fix that.
see what
But I
you're
also
saying.
appreciate like just let her leave. That's fine.
But I also
I know.
I'm like I'm busy. I don't have time. But I will confess to you all some of
Yes.
my I've been listening to your
Please.
fears. You all have been so
Yes.
brave, and I have
Tell
not.
us.
So you heard one of them yesterday. If you're here in the show, Renee showed us these pictures of like the Cirque du Soleil
Mm,
Instagram account, and I was
right.
having feelings because it triggered me. Clowns. I can't do clowns. There's
Right.
nothing joyful about clowns.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And I think they also murder people from that
Yeah.
documentary It. No, it's that
Right.
documentary It by
Right.
directed by Stephen King or something. There's like a murderous clown that murders children through the sewers. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. I've never even seen. I think I was 4 years old, and I
Right.
nope. Stacy. I usually am right there with you, but this is the hill
Yeah.
I will die on. Stacy's like, oh, they're not that scary when you think about it. No, I won't think about it because they
No.
are
It's
scary,
terrifying.
Stacy. Terrifying. That's the whole thing. I can't. I don't, and I'm not lying. Clowns are terrifying. What is wrong with you people? They're terrifying.
Wait, can
Put
you
them
unpack
on
it
a
a little bit?
spaceship to outer space. Killer
Okay.
clowns from outer space.
Yeah.
Name a movie where they're not murdering people or bringing
Oh, I see.
sadness or
I
chasing
see.
people.
I see.
They're evil. Ain't
Can't
nothing more
handle it.
evil than a clown.
Okay. Okay. No, I get, and I feel like cinema has put this in your head. As someone who has not seen any of those movies because I'm scared to get and I can't, I
You've
don't
seen the
find them
covers.
terrifying.
You've seen pictures.
I
You've seen
have.
pictures. And
I
I forgot
have.
who. It was some like Gucci or Lululemon brought out like a line of clown pants, and there's like pictures of clowns all over them. I'm like,
Oh
who is this
no.
for? And then giant clowns on their purses. Like,
Oh
whoa,
no.
okay.
I don't need
Okay.
that. I don't
Way to
need
keep me
that.
gay and
Yeah.
not away from women, if that's what you're trying to do. If I thought I was questioning, maybe a little
Yep.
bi, nope,
Can't do
that's
it.
out the window. Out the
Cannot
window.
do it. Get on uppers. Are you guys terrified of clowns? Anybody else also scared of clowns?
Oh, wait,
Let's.
did you have
I feel
clowns
like
at
it's
your
a very
birthday
common
party?
fear.
It
No.
is. Stacey,
Yeah.
you got clowns on your wall? I would not be able to sleep. I'm terrified for you. Stacey, be careful. Be careful. Those
Be
pictures could come
careful.
alive. My
It's gonna
roommate
be
had bought like a
scary.
painting of a clown and just left it in the hallway for a moment. I was like, this
Oh no.
can't. This nope,
Did you
it's
turn
gotta
it
go
around?
to the
You gave it a
basement.
little.
I
You gave it a
did
little
turn it.
twirl.
I put it in the basement. I
Yep.
put it in the basement.
Yeah,
That's where
that
I
makes
did.
sense. It makes
Stacey, you
all the
are
sense in the world.
braver than me. Another thing that I'm afraid of, dolls. Dolls are also terrifying.
Huh.
Here's why.
Okay. Yes.
There was a documentary I saw called Child's Play. It was about this doll, Chucky, who came to life and murdered
Okay.
people because he had the soul of a serial killer trapped in his body.
Got it.
And then there was also a documentary called Dolly Dearest about a bunch of dolls who the devil had gotten into and murdered this town. So dolls
Sure.
are also they'll come to life and they'll murder you. So
Okay.
yep,
Okay.
yep, yep.
Jim, I feel the root of most of your fears is based in what you're watching. You gotta choose better things to watch.
It's not my
Absolutely
fault,
not.
Renee. My brother's
Okay.
5 years older than me.
Sure.
He's,
Okay.
13. I'm 8. What is he watching? He's watching these
Yeah.
horror movies.
He's
And my
watching these
mom
scary
loves horror movies
movies.
too. And
Gotta.
she's watching them, and I have to keep up. I have to
Yeah.
keep up.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
see,
Tim's.
Tim even
Yeah.
said there's a poltergeist. In poltergeist, there's a doll under the bed. You guys, okay. I don't like this subject.
You get it.
I'm getting
Tim
triggered.
also has a very, I think, level-headed approach towards clowns. Clowns don't terrify me, but I also don't search for them. I don't seek them out. That's fine. I let them do them. I do me. Yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up question to you all? They bring you joy? Like, what is the point of it? You're like, I love a clown. This is fun. You're clapping. You're like laughing. They're not funny.
Sure.
I don't get it. Or do you laugh at them? Do you love them?
I think I've definitely laughed at a clown before. I think clowns can be funny. I think they can be a funny bit.
I like the ones that like they just put on a nose and they do the art form of clowning. That's fun. I like the art form of clowning, but like the honk, the face makeup, the hat and the hair.
Okay.
I can't.
Have you seen the bit where a bunch of them try to get into a car? Hilarious. Very funny. Okay. Have you seen the bit where a car arrives and a bunch of clowns come out? Hilarious.
Only not in real life. Only on cartoons. I don't think it's real. I don't think it's real. I would rather see a magic show.
Yeah.
I think, is that real? You've actually in real life seen a bunch of clowns try to, that's a myth. I think it's a myth.
Yes. No, for some reason, I can't remember if this is a video or if I actually saw it, but we did go to Barnum and Bailey's circus. And I remember clowns being part of that. But of the circus, I wouldn't leave with like, what my favorite part was? The clowns. I would save the trapeze. I would say the trapeze.
I think we can do away with clowns. I think like, enough people have been hurt and traumatized by clowns. We can put them away.
That's okay. All right.
I'm doing a documentary called We Need to Talk About Clowns.
Enough clowns. Enough clowns already. Okay.
On the heels, I was inspired by the Bill Cosby documentary. We now need We Need to Talk About Clowns.
I'll take it. I think that is perfectly fair. And you know what? I don't stand strong enough in my like clowns are fine to not be moved. So I will hop on board your boat.
Yes. I don't consider this to be an irrational fear. But if you have an irrational fear, you don't think it's irrational.
You don't think it's weird.
Totally.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll tell you what, when I go to Disneyland, there is, it used to be Tower of Terror. Now it's Guardians of the Galaxy, but the ride itself is an elevator that drops up and down, but it drops inconsistently. So you can't predict the drops. So it is evoking my previous fear of the fear of falling and startling me. Won't ride it as a grown woman. I will not. No, absolutely not.
Even now that's Guardians of the Galaxy. I did it as Guardians. I was doing a shoot with Marvel when we went.
Right. And all my very adult friends are just like, well, this is silly. You should ride. And I stand staunchly in my like, I won't. No, I'm not going to do that.
Don't like being dropped.
Don't startle me. What did you think of Guardians of the Galaxy? Did you like it?
I liked it. I don't even, I think when I maybe never really did the Tower of Terror. It was broken a lot. It was often broken. And I didn't go to Disneyland that much. My family wasn't big on Disney. Again, my family loves those thrills, so I had to keep up. So, like, forced onto roller coasters like at a very young age because it was just like my mom's like, "I paid for it, we're doing it." And so, Top Gun, Great America was my first ride. Your feet are dangling. It's one of those dangling ones. And I was 10 years old, and I never looked back. And that was my first one.
I love it. Clark says, "Yes, I'm so jealous. Is Top Gun still around?"
It is. Yeah, it is. It is. I think they renamed it something because it used to be Great America was owned by Paramount, but then Paramount didn't have, I don't know. It might have been renamed or something. Or the Vortex might have been my first one, which was like a stand-up roller coaster.
Those are great. No notes for those. Those are perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, how do we okay, so we're still in Flashback Friday. I have one more that I'd love to run by just to get us out of this fear zone because I don't like being afraid.
I like it.
I am curious. Aaron, we went to Kings Island in Cincinnati, which was a Paramount part of Top Gun. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Paramount used to own all these parks, and then something happened.
And then it went away. This is a detour. Are you watching Righteous Gemstones on HBO?
I'm not. You have mentioned it a few times, and I'm like, Renee watches this.
Need to,
Back
but
to
they both them and Succession highlight that wealthy people bought theme parks in the 90s. It was all the rage, all the thing to do.
Interesting. That's what was going on. Wow.
Yeah.
There was a documentary. I don't remember this, and I'm leading us to a dead end. So prepare. I don't know where this is going, and this is going to bear no results and nothing for you to do. It's actually going to provide you with homework. Stuff to do. There is a really great documentary about, I forget what network it's on either. It's either Netflix or HBO, but it's about this theme park that was created I want to say the East Coast, or it could have been the Northwest or the
Okay.
Midwest. See, I'm not helping.
Okay.
But it was
Great.
about how they were making these wild roller coasters and these rides or water slides or something, and it was just very like dangerous. I think it was on HBO. I think it was on HBO, absolutely. And it's just like in the 90s, these people were just making all these wild rides, and that like scientifically should not work, and people were always getting hurt and injured. But it was just like, oh, it's the 90s, man. We can do anything.
Yeah.
It's a really cool documentary. I don't remember the name of it.
Okay. No, but
I
we can.
don't
If it's
remember what
on
part of the
HBO,
country it was in.
We'll go find it. We'll find it. Or I
It's
can
like-
probably Google it right now. Keep talking and I'll tell you what it was called. Hold on. Hold please. Keep talking, Jim.
Well, all right. So we're about halfway through the show. And at this point, we like to do a little check-in with our audience. For your latecomers we've got is this an update?
Yes, it's
We've got
class.
breaking news. Breaking news.
Beep, 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 beep. Class Action Park. I've seen that and it looks great. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Class Action Park. That's it. Highly recommend Class Action Park, because it'll kind of like if you ever went to like these theme parks or water parks as a kid, you'll be like, ooh, and then you'll be like, oh, that looks dangerous. I
should have died. I love it.
Actually, some kids at the local water world senior trip, they had this one above ground rapids ride.
Right.
And it wasn't like a in the ground one, it was like above ground. You can only have like so many people on it at once. Well, this group of high school students rushed it, and it was their senior trip, and it collapsed, and like I think like a bunch of them died. Yeah.
Whoa,
So,
don't rush it.
follow the rules at a theme park. Those rules are there for a reason. When they say wait, they mean wait.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, now we know. I'm gonna watch Class Action. Is it scary?
No.
Okay, it's
Not
just
at all.
informative.
It's fun.
Just like
it's like salacious. It's like, ooh, the 90s, and then like salacious, like, ooh, we were getting away with things that we shouldn't have been, and there might have been like some like money laundering or something. It's good stuff.
I love
delicious.
it. I love it.
Class Action Park.
Okay, we'll be there. Ricky, Sue, we're talking about a documentary on HBO called Class Action Park about theme parks that were too risky in the 90s. Great.
Yep.
Everybody's got it.
You got homework. I want a full report. All right, we're at the halfway mark of our show. And so for the latecomers coming in, I am Jam. This is Renee. You're watching Get On Up right here on Backchannel. And if you've been here a few times, or even if it's your first time, you're like, I love this show so much. Where have these kooky cats been my entire life? Feel free to go to www.backchannel.tv and tap that ring. You can just, tap that. Everyone's always like, smash it. I don't want you to hurt your arms, your fingers, your hands. Just give a little love tap to that review button and write your love thoughts, and we'll love to see them. Feedback is a gift.
Yes, it truly is. Truly is. Would love to see it. Thank you so much for making time for such a thing. Jam, here we are. We're right there. It's 7:59, almost 8 a.m. Second hour. Very excited. Right.
Depending on where you were.
How are we going to kick off this second hour of the show?
Glad you asked, Renee Burt. Glad you asked. Do we like that? Renee Burt? Nope.
I mean, sure. Yeah, I can work with it. Yeah.
Reneezy? I feel like that's so easy. Oh.
But it's sweet. You're the only one.
Does everybody call you Reneezy?
No.
Okay.
Which is why I love it when you do. It's very sweet.
Well,
it's very sweet.
Sarah, if you can change the title to Get On Up with Jam and Reneezy, then we're good. We'll have to re-record that opening. You're like, I know.
Worth it.
Okay.
Worth it. Yeah.
We've got a few. I got some. So there's some things that happen in this week in the news, and you might have missed it. So we have a few different things here. Sarah, did I put a picture of a lizard in the drive? Did I put a picture of the lizard? Let me know. I have a few different stories. I can go to a different one. But yes, so my first story that I'm going to go to is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The show has been changed. Get On Up with Jam and Reneezy. Oh, we love it. We love it.
And spelled perfectly. Yes.
The 2022 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has been announced. The 2002 Hall of Famers. Have you heard the list? Do you want to know who's on?
I have. Because you told me yesterday that well, I'll just say one, and then
I didn't. Doug said it. I think Doug mentioned
Doug that Dolly Parton. And on the other hand, how are we just now getting to Dolly?
Oh,
but Dolly's getting in there. Dolly's getting in there.
Better late than never. So we got Dolly Parton and Beck as well. Okay, great. We've got my lizard pick on standby. Beck as well. Pat Benatar, Kate Bush, Devo,
Great.
Duran, Eminem, the Eurythmics, Judas Priest, Afrobeat, Fela Kuti. Oh, Fela Kuti.
Great.
Yes, MC5. I don't know. The New York Dolls. Dolly Parton, of course.
Okay.
Rage Against the Machine, Lionel Richie, Carly
Come
Simon, A Tribe Called Quest. And if you've been following her on Twitter, you know that she has been going through it, having beefs with like mayonnaise and Oreos. It's Dionne Warwick, everyone's favorite on Twitter.
Take that, mayonnaise. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame made peace with her. What are you gonna do?
Have you heard about? I might have to come back and do a segment next week about Dionne Warwick's Twitter feuds with like so much. If you've been watching SNL, Ego has been doing an ongoing bit where she's Dionne Warwick hosting a show who just she's just like an aunt. She's like, I don't understand. Why is your name this? She'll just like tag somebody and she's like, Eminem. Why is your name Eminem? Pull up your pants. Like she just is tagging these people. Like she's just talking to them.
I
trying to understand how this works. It's like mayonnaise. I don't like you.
Yeah.
And they blocked her. I believe I have to. I will fact check this for next week. Put a pen in it, Sarah. Make a note. We have to revisit Dionne Warwick. I'm pretty sure they blocked her on Twitter.
On Warwick. No, because I want to humanize this a little bit, and I'm curious. Get on uppers. If you do this as well, when you're scrolling through, I do say that to people where I'm just like, buddy, all right, take it easy. And now I don't comment on such a thing. I don't do the comment, but I kind of like the acceptance of just like, we're all doing it. Just Dionne Warwick's the only one saying it is hilarious. Okay. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny.
Yep. All right. So there we go. We've got some folks getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I know we're excited about Dolly. There we go.
Now, do you know what happens beyond getting in there? Is there a presentation? Is there an award ceremony? Is there cake?
There's an award ceremony. There is definitely. Renee, tell me if there's cake. Is there cake? I need to know. Is there cake? Oh, there is cake. Okay. Oh, there's a cake. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. There's an award ceremony. It's a big deal, and it's a big thing. Like it's a big show. It's not just like a little. It's a big show. It's a big show.
Well, I can't wait. This is very exciting. Very exciting. Okay, now I have a little doodad that I want to tell you about. But do you want to tell me about your lizard first?
Nope. You go. I've got a few, so we can. We'll make space. Ooh, now, and Tim brings up a good point. Maybe they'll have the Dolly Parton cake. It would be a travesty if they had any other cake aside from Dolly Parton's very own cake mix.
Tim, I couldn't. No,
and now Renee's thinking, Renee's like, if I could just show up, maybe I'll just show up to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Then I'll get a slice of cake.
And I will explain.
Now you're like a cartoon character. You're like the Wile E. Coyote trying to get the Roadrunner, but yours is
showing up at the Super Bowl next week with my driver's license. Well, I'm a SoCal resident, so I don't know where.
You will have. I'm here for the Dolly Parton cake. I'm here for y'all have some Dolly Parton cake, huh?
I was like, who is this woman going around the nation thinking that she can just come in based off her affinity for something?
I love Dolly Parton and I love her cake. Please let me in.
Please let me in. Please let me in. I just need to get into that cake. Now, Jam, I'm going to showcase my geriatric millennial, and you don't have to align with me on this. You certainly do not have to. But I'm going to be like, back in my day, and you don't have to be like, yeah, me too, because I know what you want to separate yourself.
I just want to highlight that even though we took that quiz, and I was even one more point higher than you as a geriatric millennial, I still don't like the word or phrase. So every time you say it, it wins. It's like okay.
I don't love it. It doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. And you're right about that. So I'm going to talk about the Olympics. Back in my day, it's all we would talk about. The whole family gathered round. We would check the TV guide to make sure that we were all watching at the same time. There was nothing to be discussed outside of your home that wasn't the Olympics. It was everything. And now, I guess it starts today. That's how far we've come. To plan an entire 4 years around the Olympics happening to now, just as I check the news, I'm like, oh gosh, I guess The Winter Olympics start today. Huh? How about that? So that's what I'm telling you, is that the Winter Olympics start today, and they have never been more controversial. Have you heard all the stuff that's going on there? It's a mess.
Catch us up a little bit. I mean, it's one of those things that like should be having, I guess not as bad as the Summer Olympics. It was like, whoa, why is this happening? We were knee deep, neck deep in the pandemic, actually. Eyeballs deep in the pandemic by them. But now we're about knee deep, I think, or waist deep. It's still going.
The thing that's like, oh God, heartbreaking about it is that the Olympics have got to like, us as a nations are uniting to come together as one. So the Olympics are happening. Meanwhile, Russia is about to invade the Ukraine. So both Russian athletes and Ukrainian athletes are at the games trying not to like talk to each other. So that in and of itself is just as weird as the day is long. Plus the fact that the US is not actively participating in it because they don't like the way that China is sort of treating just humans in general. So there's a big debacle about that. And that's all before we get to COVID, which is absolutely happening.
Are we not, we're not doing the Olympics this year? America's not participating?
Diplomats aren't supporting it. So there are a few athletes who have sort of like circumvented it. But in general, US is just like, you guys need to get your stuff together. So Russia's mad at Ukraine. We're mad at Russia. We're also mad at China. Nobody's talking. Nobody's getting along. I
did hear something though, that the good news is because the Olympics is happening, it will halt any sort of possible invasion and allow for more diplomatic conversations to happen. Like, because Putin and Xi Jinping have a good relationship, this is his moment, and he's like, don't mess this up for me, Putin. Don't mess this up. All eyes on me. And so Putin won't do anything to that's what I heard. That's the rumor. But who knows? Yes. You know, you got that trifling friend who it might be your wedding and she's used to getting all the attention and she's going to make it about her anyways. Right. So who knows? Putin.
Who knows what's going to happen? But meanwhile, COVID is still there. And then if you were to get past all of that, these poor athletes are having to do their event, this once in a lifetime event with no one in the audience. It's just like one reporter trying to be like, hey, go get them.
Do they have cardboard cutouts at least? Any cardboard cutouts?
I don't think
some
so.
of those. No,
So that's what's going on, and it starts today. Today's the opening ceremonies for the Winter Olympics, which I didn't know was happening.
Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. I think I have a theory as why though, Renee, because back in our day, we also had limited channels. There's so much programming now. And you can kind of like people like everyone's moving so fast. Like, yeah, just give me the clips. Give me the clips, right?
Yes.
Like just show who won, cool, right? Like I think that's also a part of it. And there's just so much programming. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. So, but I kind of hear you. The hype is not, it's not as big. I think it's on Peacock.
If that, yeah. And then you got to figure out what Peacock is. And
last time it wasn't even on Peacock, and people were like, well, why do I have this NBC streaming service if it's not even there?
Yeah, I know. We're not, everybody's having a hard time.
Are you tuning in? The Winter Olympics?
Yeah, I bet I'll tune in for a few things. How about you?
After all that, you're like, nobody's watching it. All eyes on this. Renee, will you watch it? I might tune in for a thing or two.
I don't know. Dollface is coming out. I may not have time.
I might have time. I'll probably watch curling. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah.
Maybe.
Or the rhythmic gymnastics. But that's
Summer Olympics.
Renee knows her Olympics. I am sorry. I will say I have a beef that I think it's insane that I didn't realize the sexism between the men's gymnastic events and the women's gymnastic events, that like men don't do rhythmic gymnastics. I'm sorry. I would like to see a man prancing around in some tight clothing to Beyonce's Single Ladies. Like I want to see it. Like they just make the ladies do all these like ribbon dancings and stuff, and the men are like, oh, I gotta hold myself and like jump on this. I think it's not great.
I know. Well, hopefully I'll call him after this. I'll let him know.
You're committee. I do want to throw. I love Aaron's comment. Bring back Tanya Harding. I think her time is. I don't think she'll be competing anytime soon.
But I mean, maybe that could fix it. Yeah.
And I now refrain from making any Tanya Harding jokes anymore. I used to make a lot of them, but I saw I, Tanya, and I was like, well,
Good
I'm going
boy.
through a lot.
There's always a
Nancy
story.
Kerrigan, on the other hand, is open for criticism.
Yeah, when not great. I don't
Why
think.
me? Why me? That's what she said when she got hit. And I will tell you this, I'm not proud of this, but as
Yeah.
a dance instructor, I do have a move called the Nancy Kerrigan. And I will say it to, if you've taken dance classes with me, you'll know what it means. It's when you turn your right knee in, like someone just kind of like hit ya. Like you do a little, for those of you who can
Okay,
see.
yeah, let's see it. Let's get a demonstration there. What happens? Okay.
That's
All right.
Nancy.
Oh, that's very funny. Okay, so you do it like a slight broken leg. Yeah. Okay. It's fun.
Kind of like a little tootsie roll, a little tootsie roll. I'm like, oh, Nancy
Little-
Kerrigan to the right, and if you've been taking class with me, you'll know exactly. You'll know exactly.
That's very charming. I like that. And I want to hear more names of the dance moves that you create. But you also tease that you may have a lizard story. You know I love
I've got a couple more. I got a couple more stories. We'll see what we have time for. All right. So some good news on the science front. You're not the only one who can do a Fluff Friday, Renee. You're not the only one who can do a Fluff Friday. So some recent news broke about the success of research into limb regeneration using a frog and a 5-drug cocktail to replace the frog's lost leg. The problem with this, if any of you have ever seen Spider-Man, is that you know that Doc Connors was trying to do something similar. He actually had an amputated arm. He was missing an arm. And so he was working with like lizard cells to try to regenerate his arm. And so I think we have a photo of what happened to Doc Connors. He had turned into, do we have the photo, Sarah, of what happened to Doc Connors when he tried the lizard regeneration? Do we have that? So essentially, it turned Doc Connors into this. So those of us in the comic book world are a little nervous because on the one end, this is amazing. There's a scientific, research where using frog cells that they're able to regenerate limbs. But we just saw how this happen in Spider-Man, and it did not go well. It didn't go well for Doc Connors. So people are concerned that this might happen. We might turn him into the Lizard Man.
Okay. All right. What is their hope? I would imagine that they got into this hoping like, well, this is my goal for it.
Well, no, their hope is that they're going to be able to regenerate limbs in human beings. So that's the idea, is that, so the testing of this is that like, oh, well, you're missing a limb, you'll be able to regenerate through these cells because I guess frogs are able to do that. So
okay.
That's the hope. The fear is, we've seen this in Spider-Man. We know how the story goes. We turn into a vicious lizard man. The lizard man. Yeah. It's similar to, I've seen enough science fiction to know we have to be careful with our AI because all science fiction points us into the direction of the robots will murder us. We've seen it in The Matrix. We've seen it in Terminator and Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Terminator the reboot, Terminator Salvation, still terminating. We know how this happens. iRobot, it just happens. We know it. So
as someone in Los Angeles, I think the facelift community is going to get wind of this, and they're going to be like, "No, what now? We're what?" And you're going to have just a bunch of 18-year-olds running around of like,
with lizard faces. This is what will happen. So
I know.
I just say tread lightly here, people. Tread lightly here. I think also too, science fiction has taught us nothing. 1984, George Orwell. Like we know where this goes. Not that this is 1980. Not that this has anything to do with like Big Brother watching you. But similar to like, I don't understand. Like in Terminator, they create a device. It's a thing like it's a machine that has all of our data and information, and they call it Skynet is the company, which is why I'm so concerned why they were like, oh yeah, the cloud. Like we know where this goes. Why couldn't you call it something different? Like Treebert or something, put all your information in. Oh my God, there was a hack into my Treebert. They took all my photos.
Adorable and not scary at all. Nothing bad has ever happened in a tree. We know it. Everybody's great. The Keebler elves faring well. The Robinson family seems fantastic. Tarzan loved it. Nothing bad happens in a tree.
No, nothing bad. Nothing bad. Nothing bad. Nothing bad.
Nothing bad at all. All right.
We've been do you have another one?
Do I no, that's it. That's all I
No?
got. I just
Okay.
wanted to wail about the Olympics.
Dolly, it's Renee, that's all we needed you to do. You had you know, I have two other things that I saw in the news that I'd like to share with you all. Mainly this one I want to touch on, and we're gonna end on actually a really beautiful note. So we've been tracking the story, the Joe Rogan Spotify kerfuffle, right? Joe Rogan, who also gets paid $100 million to do his podcast, which is wild. And then someone told me he doesn't even prepare for his podcast. I can't even understand.
Of course he does it. You know he does it.
You know how much research I do for, we do research for this show, my podcast, like it's insane. So Roxane Gay, famous author, has also pulled her podcast from Spotify. I think she had a really interesting quote. Like, well, also here's the other thing though, too, is that I go back and forth on this. Is I'm all about free speech, absolutely, but he does also have just a lot. Well, I won't conflate it. The thing that people are really standing against is the misinformation of COVID-19, and it's a public health crisis, and so it's putting people's lives in danger. But then I also go back on this other thing, he has a lot of also sometimes transphobic and homophobic and racist things, and that's also a pandemic in itself, that these things that are also putting other people's lives in danger. So he's been saying really terrible things for the longest time. So I kind of go on the fence once I go past the COVID-19 lane. I also have my podcast on Spotify and wondering if I should also take it off. I mean, not that it's going to help move the needle, but why am and I will say this, Roxane Gay said it won't move any needle, but I removed my podcast from Spotify. That's all there really is to say about that, and onward. And her podcast is called The Roxane Gay Agenda, which I love.
Adorable. We love it. We love it. Did you see what Brene Brown said about it?
Oh, did she fight? Because I just assumed she wasn't putting any more episodes out, so I stopped tuning in.
Yeah, and she kind of had that exact same back and forth with herself about of course I'm not against free speech, but I am for information. My husband is a doctor for accurate information. So I think the thing that they're landing on, and there's also been a ton of exposés, and that Spotify cannot afford to lose Joe Rogan. They can't. The company will go. They will go
no way. They put all their eggs in that basket. They put it all on, and that's insane.
I know.
Business move.
Yeah, I know.
Joe Rogan was your golden egg.
What are you doing, sweet peas? But at the same time, the amount of listenership that he gets is very, very strong, and to exclusively put it on that network seems, if you didn't look into Joe Rogan at all, like a great business move. But then when she's like, oh, should we look at the content? So Spotify is in a tough spot that they cannot lose him because the company will go under. And then all these artists are in a tough spot because their listenership is dependent on it. So I think the thing that they've landed on is that they're going to do a warning of just hey, there's misinformation in this show. And I think that's where Brene Brown landed, is I can ethically, in my world, go back on so long as there is sort of a notice that says, hey, you're not telling the truth over there.
And well, she's also an exclusive as well, So I mean, it's such a tricky thing. Yes. That freedom of speech, man, it's a double-edged sword, and you can't. I'm very trying to be conscious. I've tried to be conscious of it, just because they don't agree with someone doesn't mean anything they should be taken off the air. But it's also, there should be a warning of this is not before certain on news channels. This is actually entertainment. Not everything said on here is news. So
right. Couldn't agree. It's tricky. Get on uppers. How we feeling? How we doing?
Aaron chimed in and wants us to boycott speech. Great idea, Aaron.
Aaron, you know what, Aaron? I think you're right at this point, because there is an element of just humans.
Boycotts are free speech too. I gotcha. Okay. I like your other one. It's kind of just I don't know what that is, but it's just boycott speech. And okay, Aaron, I don't like this. Where this other one going? And Italian dogs are going a little too far. We will have none of that. We're an inclusive podcast. We love our Italian dogs.
Thank you. We got them all. I love it.
I have one last quick story. Can I get it in here? Okay,
please.
so
Yes.
the Biden administration is paying survivor benefits to LGBTQ plus elders. So for the longest time, LGBTQ elders who were in long-term relationships before the legalization of same-sex marriage, now thousands of LGBTQ plus elders who are in long-term relationships before the legalization of same-sex marriage are now eligible for survivor benefits. And this has been a years-long battle. Of course, this is walking back. The Trump administration had gone against it. And so again, it's like, if your partner before 2015, y'all weren't married, but they had passed away, you got nothing, absolutely nothing. You've been together for 20 years, 10 years, you actually got nothing. And so there was a twin class action lawsuit that was initially filed in 2018, Eli versus Sal and Thornton versus Sal, and the LGBT and the advocacy group Lambda Legal had made this case. And so it's just a really landmark moment. So, for example, one of the plaintiffs who had shared a 3-decade romance with her late partner, Marjorie Brown, now receives $1,849 every month, which is twice what she received prior to being paid as a survivor. She's also going to receive a one-time $72,000 payment for the years that she was denied benefits after initially applying in 2015.
Ah, that's amazing. That is amazing. Now, I would love for this to go all the way back to the 90s AIDS crisis. Is there any way we can do sort of corrections? At what point do we stop this correction?
Yeah, I know. And there's a lot of like old antiquated laws. There's even, my brother who works at a blood drive, he wants to do one with the gay community. And I said, legally, we're not allowed to give blood if you've been with a male partner in, I think it was originally like a year. I think recently, because there's such a blood shortage, it's been shortened to like 3 or 4 months, but they test all of the blood. They test all of the blood. And it's also still this old notion that HIV is a gay disease when it just does not discriminate. Yes, more gay people probably, get infected, but it does not discriminate. And so you could still be someone who has a heterosexual relationship and still contract HIV, and you're able to donate blood. It's old. We have these old antiquated laws that need to be just updated and revisited, and give people, they've been with their partner for so long, give them their money.
All right. Well, this is a step in the right direction. I love this very, very much. This is great. Get on Upper A is joined us and says hi.
Hi, A. Hello.
Love to see you.
Well, A, you are just in time for it is Fact Friday.
Love it. Love it.
Here, it's Fact Friday. We're gonna play Jam You Lion, Janet Jackson edition. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely scooch on over to A&E's documentary. They did 2-part Janet Jackson documentary night. It's great. Absolutely watch it, because Black History Month, Janet Jackson is Black history. She's American history. She's been around for decades. You're seeing also just the journey of being a Black woman in this industry and in this world. So amazing. So we're playing Jam You Lion. I'm going to say a fact. I'm going to say it as a fact. Okay. And you all are going to say whether I'm lying or that's right. So if you think that I'm lying for this thing that comes out of my mouth, you'll say, Jam You Lion. And if you think it's right, you can say, oh, Jam, that's right. Into your device, interactive. You're going to help Renee out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you perfect? Wait, now, Jim, you got to help out your geriatric millennial. So it's on A&E. What streaming service so is that Prime? That's Hulu? How did you watch it?
I went to my ex-boyfriend's house, and he has DVR.
You got to go to your ex-boyfriend's house. Okay.
Yeah. Find your ex-boyfriend who has a DVR. I can give you mine. I can give you his address. His name is Marvin. He lives at Roosevelt Way here in San Francisco.
Perfect. Marvin, if you can just let him know I should be by around 7 tonight.
And Doug watched it on DirecTV. Doug, I'm curious, what were did you like it? Did you love it? Did you learn anything new? Doug's going to be your go-to person for this.
Yeah,
Doug. Jam You Lion.
Goodness gracious. All right. Get on uppers. We're doing this together as a team. We are going to get this all right. I'm very, very excited to watch this documentary. But until then, I'm ready to learn some stuff.
Here we go. Here's the first one. Janet's first album was Control. Janet's first album was Control. If you
Okay.
think that is true, you'll say, Jam, that's right. If you think I'm lying, you'll say, into your device, say, Jam, you lying.
All right. So everybody knows we know how to say it all into our devices. What do we think, Get On Uppers? Was the very first album Control? Was there one before that? Or do you know for a fact that Control was her last album? Like, well, by process of elimination, I can say the Jam You Lion. Okay. Aaron says Jam You Lion. A Jam You Lion from Aaron.
Okay.
Now, can I tell you what I love so much about this back channel? It will phonetically say what you said. So lion is spelled Lion. So Jam, you lion.
Ooh, okay. All right. Let's see. You going
Yeah.
with that? You're gonna go with Aaron? Gonna trust
Jam.
Aaron, who thinks that we should boycott speech? I said what I said from Aaron. Too fun, too fun.
Delightful. Yes.
Aaron's right. Aaron knows they're
Yeah.
Janet. First album was actually, I think we might have some photos of this. I didn't put a lot of photos in there. Her first album was actually Janet Jackson. She recorded it. She was 16 years old. And then followed by, that was her first album. Control is her third album, Renne.
Hey.
Yeah. And Control has all the bops. And then Dream Street was her second one. Janet hated both of these. She hated this album cover. Joe Jackson led the charge on that.
Okay.
And yeah, there we go. Control was her third album, and Control changed the game because she then linked up with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, which is why my mom used to always call me Jimmy Jam.
Right.
But she said that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, that's what changed the game for her.
Perfect. All right, I'll take it. So the thing that she didn't like the album cover. She didn't like the music within the album.
But
Didn't like.
Wasn't a fan. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Then by the time she made Control, she was happy.
Yeah, there it is. That got in the zone. All right, next one. You all are off to a great start. Second, Janet Jackson trivia question is: Janet is the second youngest of the 9 Jacksons. Janet is the second youngest of the 9 Jacksons. Is that Jam You Lion or Jam That's Right?
Now, this sounds like something that could be like, I mean, she's there, but she's actually the third youngest. So it could be a Jammy Lion, but you also just did a Jammy Lion. So there's a problem. That's truth. What do we think? Get On Uppers. Do we think Jammy Lion? We think Jam. That's a fact. I'm going to go with Jam. That's a fact. Second youngest sounds right to me. Let's see. Get On Uppers.
There wasn't even, or maybe there was 10 children.
Yeah, there's all kinds. There's all kinds. Okay. Let's see. Anybody? All right, let's go with Jam. That's a fact. Second youngest out of 9.
All right, here we go. The correct answer is Jam You Lion. She is the youngest. She's actually the baby. She's the baby. She's the baby.
Yeah, I guess I could have done that. Who do you think's younger, Renne? I don't know.
But she was there at the very tail end, being able to get all the sort of, I think that's why she's so talented. She would go to the Jackson 5, dance rehearsals and practices. She was actually, I think 7 years old. She was 7 years old when, she was 7 years old when, she was about 7 years old when I first went on their Vegas show. They were performing in Vegas for the longest time. And she was 7, being on stage, dancing and performing. So
look at that. I love it. Okay. All right. She's the baby.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Our next one. Janet never wanted to be a singer. Is this Jam That's Right or Jam You Lion?
She's absorbing all of this. I can definitely see it going both ways. We're just like, well, this has been done, so I got to find a different avenue for myself. Or yeah, of course she's going to follow the family business. What do we think? Get On Uppers. Let's see. I'm going to go with just to be curious about what else would she have wanted to be? I'll go with Jam That's a Fact so that I can try to figure out what else she wanted to be. Jam That's a Fact.
Ooh, okay. We're going to go with you on that one, Renne. You are right. Jam, that is right. She did not want to be a singer. Do you have, Tim's Jam. She didn't want to be a singer though, Tim. She did not. She didn't.
Yeah.
But Tim
So
says
Tim,
that
you got it right. You still got it right.
Tim, no, actually, no, Tim. Wasn't that she wanted to be an actor? But she did do some acting. You are right. What else do you think that she wanted to do instead?
Let's see. Well, she's so gosh, she's so creative. I bet it was something did it fashion, maybe? She wanna go into fashion?
Okay, we're gonna lock
She
in fashion. So she
Yeah.
said in an interview that when she was younger, before she got into the business, she wanted to be a horse racing jockey.
Look
Granted,
at
she's
that.
7. And she was, and then she was like, her dad was like, "Do you want to perform in the Vegas show?" And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she wanted to go to college and study business law, and her dad was like, "Oh, that's not gonna happen. You're gonna sing." So that's Joe was like, "You gonna sing?"
Interesting. Okay. All right. I like that. Tim also suggested a dentist, but no, she wanted to be
Yep.
what was the actual title of it? A horse
A
racer?
horse jockey, like a
Horse
horse jockey riding the
very
horses. Yeah, yeah,
horse
yeah.
jockey. Okay. All right.
All
Horse
right, here we go. Next one. Janet's middle name is Joanne. Janet's middle name, Janet Joanne Jackson.
Yeah. That
J.
seems
Is that
not
Jam You Lion or that's a fact?
any of the other Jackson kids' middle name to see if maybe we can come up with something that would be like, well, I don't know if that is in alignment with the rest of the middle names of the Jackson kids. What do we think? Get on uppers. Is that a jam you lion? Doug says jam you a liar. Yeah, absolutely not.
If you all right, Doug, bonus question. If I'm lying, Doug, can you help us? Do you know if I'm lying, what do you think the middle name is for
Do you know
bonus? For
what it
bonus. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna. You know what, Doug? Let's stick together as a team. You and me. Jam, you lion. Joanne
Okay.
was
All right.
her middle name. What was it instead?
Because Joanne is actually Lady Gaga's middle name, and her middle name is actually Demita Joe. Demita Joe, which is also one of the names of her album. Her, I want to say 7th album, 8th album. I'm sorry, I should know. I am part of the
Okay.
Rhythm Nation. I should absolutely know.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Tim coming in with the Tim coming in with the humor. I thought she said it was privacy in the song Control. Yep, she did.
I don't know. The
She
name is privacy.
she did.
Mhm.
Oh, that's good, Tim. Yeah, you're right. But see, she was keeping it private, the real one. She was keeping it private. Okay, here we go. Janet intentionally planned that wardrobe malfunction for publicity because she had a new album coming out.
No, absolutely not. Nope. That's not what happened. Jam you lion.
Okay, going in hard, not even waiting for the get on uppers. We're not even. Absolutely, you're so right. It was absolutely, and originally I watched. There's there's a documentary on Hulu about it from the New York Times,
Right.
and they interview. Yep, Doug, you're right. I was lying. Trying to set the record straight.
Lies.
I get it. I know I'm a liar. All right. So, yes.
documentary say?
So
The
there's a Hulu documentary, New York Times Hulu documentary, and they go into it. And originally, first of all, there just was a lot of things going on at that moment. There was a huge sort of conservative TV movement was trying to TV's getting too outrageous, and so they're looking for something to jump onto. And originally it was supposed to be a skirt pull that it was gonna be a skirt was gonna get pulled. She was still gonna have like a leotard and like stuff underneath.
Sure.
The skirt kept falling, and they were like, okay, let's not do that. And then at the last minute, the wardrobe person had this idea. It was just supposed to be just a part. Long story long, Justin grabbed the wrong part, and Janet's actually crying when that happens. It's a huge violation, right? And public television, she's crying afterwards. She like runs away, and it just got really blown out of proportion. YouTube had just started, and so this was played over and over and over again. It was grappled on by this movement who was looking to try to get stronger FCC rules. Les Moonves, who was the head of CBS at the time, and we've heard Les Moonves, who's no longer at CBS because of Harvey Weinstein-like conduct, had a vendetta. He was just so upset. He had this ego. Justin groveled at Les Moonves' feet. Janet didn't. She's like, that was an accident. I am moving on. Let's go. And so she then was banned from VH1, MTV, which were owned by Viacom. CBS is a part of Viacom. Yeah. So she was pretty much, her music videos were banned from VH1, MTV, radio stations. So she had like 2 albums after that, and it wasn't getting any radio play. And
Right.
that's what happened.
Yikes. Yeah. No, I think we'd heard some tale of such a thing, but that's absolutely awful.
Yeah,
Justin. And I
I
know that
know.
they've buried the hatchet and everything's fine, but you bring her along with
Well,
you, Justin. You say,
well,
hey,
the
together as a team, we're sorry.
yeah.
Justin. Okay.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, like, she could forgive him. It's like when your friends like has an ex-boyfriend and like, oh, we're friends now. Your friend can forgive them, but you as the friend, you don't. You remember
Sure. Yeah.
everything, you
Oh,
know?
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. No,
But
that's a
she did
perfect
recently
metaphor.
come out and do a video. She's like, I've forgiven Justin. We all have to move on. Like, oh yeah, yeah, you should. You absolutely
You
should.
should. You should. We
But
still are
she's
mad.
lost out on like she had so many albums have come out. She had concert tours, and nobody except for the diehard fans really knew or was really there, you know? So,
Right. Right.
all right.
Exactly. Okay. Next one.
Next one. Janet's last album came out in 2015 and it's called Unbreakable, and she produced it by herself because record labels were whack and wildin'.
Huh. Yes. Let's see. Get on uppers. What do you think about that? Does that seem correct to you? Is that a jam that's a fact? Is that a jam you lying? I don't love that no one would help her produce it, but I like that she took the reins on her own hand. I'm gonna go with jam, that's a fact. That's a fact. Sounds like
Yeah,
something
that's
she could
right.
do.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep. That is absolutely a fact. Her last album was Unbreakable, 2015. She did produce it herself because her record labels were absolutely whack. It's such a great album, y'all. I highly recommend. Absolutely go listen to it. Wow, Tim came out that I was lying. No, Tim, it's true. That was her last album. And correct me if I'm wrong. No, Tim, she had a single. She did have a single recently in 2019 called Made for Now, but not a new album. Not a new
Okay.
album.
Okay.
And if you
All
are
right.
just joining us and this is your first time here on Get On Up with Jam and Renee, this is our week. Every Friday, we play Jam, You Lion. And I understand it might not be your cup of tea, but you have so much programming. You got so much programming. I understand maybe you're not digging this too much. That's okay. Maybe this show and this segment just isn't for you, but we appreciate you. Thank you for stopping on by. But we're going to keep doing this. So you
Sure.
have
Sure. I gotta
choice.
know. I want to know
You've
what
got
else is
choice,
happening.
freedom, and your programming and what it is you do. Thank you for stopping by. Here it is, our next question. Janet. Here we go. Janet had an illegitimate secret baby with El DeBarge. She had an illegitimate secret
Right.
baby. The rumors are true. And people have been talking about it for years. And she came out in the documentary and she said, absolutely, I had this illegitimate secret
100%
baby with
true.
El DeBarge.
Absolutely true. I'm gonna go with Jamie Lion. How do we feel? Get on uppers. Does that seem like a no? That's no. If for no other reason than I feel like there would be no other headline happening right now other than she admitted it. It's true.
This was
What
like
do
a
we think?
long,
Yes,
it was a long-standing rumor for the longest time. They
for the
make
longest
it's
time. Yeah.
wow, Tim.
Jam, that's a fact. That's a fact from Jam. That's a fact from Jam. All right, Jam, let us know. Let us know. Is that a Jammy line or is that a Jam that's a fact?
It's a lie. It's a lie.
Yeah.
Tim, don't believe all the rumors. Don't believe all the rumors out there. It is a bold-faced lie. Some people are still like, nope, I think it's still true. I think this, no. It's not true. People said it for years. It was her first husband, El DeBarge.
Great.
He had a drug addiction, and so this went nowhere fast. And people kept saying that she had this illegitimate child. Tim says she's
I'm very
very
impressionable.
impressionable.
Yes,
I know
it happens.
we're
It
here
happens
we're
to the
here to-
best of us.
She did have a baby at, I believe, 50 recently. She just had a baby
Yeah.
recently. Yeah. So, but not with El DeBarge. That was a lie. That was
All right.
a lie.
Perfect. I love it. I
Yep,
love
yep.
it. I love it. I love it. All right, Jam.
Okay.
How we feeling? How we doing? Feeling good? Feeling strong? I'm learning so much. This is great. I'm loving it.
Yes, right. Here we go. Another one. Here we go. The music industry continues to do Janet wrong, and she was denied entry into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wait, say that again.
The music industry continues to do Janet wrong, and she was denied entry into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I want to go with Jamie Lion that she wasn't denied entry. She just hasn't gotten in there just yet. Maybe. I hope she's in there. She deserves to be in there. Get on uppers. What do we think? Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We were just talking about it, and all the people who are being inducted this year. Is Janet already in there? Would that be the proven lie? Or do we think, Jam, that's a fact? That would be crazy. On what grounds would they deny her entry? That seems crazy. Let's see. Okay, so Doug says I agree with Renee, which I like. I like that that's a new answer. Instead of jam, that's a fact. It's a jam. I agree with Renee.
I like
And then-
Tim's follow-up. Tim wants more information. I love what Tim
Yeah.
thinks. Let's get some more information.
Right.
Was she denied entry into the actual building? Was Tim's actual
Would
question.
that be it?
So did they Renee her? Where they're just like, do you have a ticket? Are you She's like, but I'm Janet. Can I just walk in here?
Can I come in? It is in the same city with which I'm in. So I feel like that's grounds for entry. I think, okay, so it was denied access. I'm going to go with Jam You Lion because I can't think of a reason why they would deny her.
You
Oh,
are
no.
right. She in 2019, she did get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So you're absolutely right.
Okay. Wonderful.
Okay. Last one for all the marbles here. Here we go. Here it is. Rhythm Nation is the only album in the history of the Hot 100 chart to have 7 singles peak within the top 5.
That seems right. There were so many good songs on that album. How do we feel? Get on up. Does that seem right? Wait, what number? 5?
So she is the only album in history to chart to have 7 singles.
7 singles
peak within the top 5.
God, that's a lot of singles on one
A
album.
lot of singles on one album, yeah.
But it also sounds right. It sounds like that's because Rhythm Nation it's just nothing but hits on that one. What do you guys think? Is that jam? That's a fact. You guys, it is for all the marbles. He just said it. And what are we gonna do with marbles? Let's go nuts. Jam, that's a fact. 7 singles. We say yes.
Well,
Janet, if anybody can do it, Janet can.
You would be right. You'd be right. Yes, you had Rhythm Nation, Miss You Much, Escapade, my favorite Janet song of all time. Love Her Never Do Without Ya. All Right, Come Back to Me. It just there's a 7th one that I can't figure out what it was, but it's there. It's there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that a kind of like has any artist ever had that? 7 on one album? That's not fair for me to ask, but
the only
that's
one.
incredible.
Yeah. She was like, you know what? She was like, this album is great. All of these are going to be singles. Boop, 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 boop. Right. And it was the only one. Oh, Tim, after my own heart. Black Cat. There it is. Those are the 7. Wow. It takes a village here. It takes a village. Yeah. Black Cat. Black Cat was the one. I love Black Cat. Black Cat was like my introduction into, I like rock music.
Yeah. Oh, that would be a good introduction to that. Do you know, for me, my very first jazz dance was to Escapade. And I still remember the choreography. I'm from sweet, sweet Colorado Springs. So we maybe were a little bit slow with our movements. So there was, it's Escapade. And then we'd.
Yes, that double clap. I love that double. Oh, you gotta have the double clap for Escapade.
Gotta have the double clap in there.
Gotta have the double clap.
Yep.
Escapade is probably one of my favorite Janet songs. It's such a joyful song, a perfect Friday song. It's so good. Y'all go on over and listen to some Janet Jackson. Maybe not on Spotify, but if Spotify is what you're using, that's fine too. But there you go.
We love
There was your Janet Jackson Fact Friday.
Excellent. That was so good. Today. Jam, you put together such a good little quiz. I genuinely learned so much. And I'm now going to go figure out where I can watch the documentary. I'm guessing Hulu will have it for me. Or Prime will have it for me.
I think so, because that's Hulu A&E. That's where I watched that Leah Remini Scientology, like all 3 seasons was on Hulu, but it was originally on A&E. So I think Hulu's gonna have that 2-part documentary on Janet Jackson. Watch it.
I love it.
Renee, I gotta kick it over to you. Renee's got our highlights from the week. Renee, what happened?
I would love to tell you. What a good week that we've had. All right, get on uppers. You were there. You remember it. You know it. We went over the two truths and a lie. The topic was, tell me something embarrassing about yourself. And from that, we learned that Renee got stuck in a magic trick, and James has never done anything embarrassing in his whole life.
I constantly, when I meet celebrities, I talk about their canceled shows. That's what I do.
That's true. That's true. Which is very, very charming and adorable, and I love it. You also gave us the origin of Black History Month, how that came to be, and how we're getting to celebrate it this whole month, which is very exciting. And then, Jam, I'm sorry to bring up the past, and I'm sorry, but you did get 100% on a geriatric millennial quiz.
That's how I started my week. Oh, got it.
Yeah. But I think it's also indicative, like, you don't fail. You do not fail. You pass with flying colors, regardless of the test. Regardless of the test.
Sure.
This is a note that I made for Wednesday because it's what's your morning jam Wednesdays. And there I learned and will never forget again that your favorite band is Little Mix. Never again. Never again will I forget such a thing. I did that from memory. Not one note. Jam's favorite band.
And
Little
what
Mix.
I love is, you know, who did know, she's already left, but Stacy remembered what my favorite band was. Little Mix.
She sure did. Wednesday was also Groundhog Day, wherein we learned that he saw his shadow. We think, maybe, we don't know what that means. We learned.
I was gonna say, I don't remember what that means. You think it's gonna be spring? He got scared. He's warm.
If he sees a shadow, it's 6 more weeks of winter. But one groundhog did see it, the other groundhog didn't. We didn't learn anything. Nothing. We learned nothing. We also learned, and this was enormous news for me, that Little Debbie, everyone's favorite snack cake, is now making an ice cream. And we're over the moon about it. We're over the moon.
Couldn't be happier. Could not be happier.
Wednesday, we also learned that Martha Stewart is giving selfie tutorials, and we're not sure how we feel about it. Just a little puckering of the lips.
She's being an accidental thirst trap.
Yep. And you sweet get on uppers were here for all of it. You remember. And then just yesterday on Thursday, I lost my mind over the fact that Dolly Parton has a cake mix available that is currently sold out. But the get on uppers are very sweet to assure me that you can get it in stores starting in March. So I'm going to be okay.
Breathe easy, Renee. Breathe easy. You'll get your cake mix. You'll get it. Go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm sure they'll have a cake for Dolly, and you'll be there.
I'm here for the cake mix. I'll announce. And then, Jim, you were so informative about our Supreme Court justice nominees. So many good contenders. So we got to learn a lot about that. Very excited. Not sure who's going to get it, but there's all good contenders. So
let's throw Janet on that list. I think after everything we just read. She was in a movie called Poetic Justice. I think that's a good qualification for her, starring opposite Tupac Shakur.
Thank you so much. And then when you did your Throwback Thursday, I learned so much about Rosa Parks. It was great, including but not limited to that there was an ongoing beef with the bus driver that gave her a hard time, named Blake. Is that his name?
Shame.
Blake. But just I learned so much that that wasn't a one-off incident. That was a guy with a vendetta who made that happen. Who knew? Yep. Who knew? Who knew? And then today we learned so much about Janet Jackson. Those are the highlights of the week.
What a great week. We did it. I like when you do this because it reminds me that you forget it happens so fast. And there it is. Renee, we're gonna jam-pack 2 segments together really quick. We're closing out. It's our closing out checkout, y'all. We want you to participate. So our checkout for today. What are you leaving behind in this week? And what are you grateful for? So it's our closing checkout of the week. We'd love to hear from you. Get on uppers into your device. Say, I'm leaving Blake, and I'm grateful for my Little Debbie ice cream, or I got Dolly Parton cake mix, and I'm grateful for it.
And I'm grateful for it. Tugboat's friend is here to come play with. So you go real quick. I'm going to go open the door. I'll be right back.
All right. Perfect. All right. Well, what I am grateful for, I feel like I say this every week, so it feels a little bit of cop out. I'm actually really grateful for our producer, Sarah Brown. Sarah Brown joined the team this week, and Sarah Brown has been just a gift from heaven. And so I just am really, really grateful for Sarah Brown, our producer. You're amazing. We love you. You're wonderful. So good to have you. And then I'm leaving behind in this week. I had it and then I lost it. What I was going to leave
that's okay. I got mine. Do you want to think about yours? You think about yours.
Go.
And then I was Tugboat. We sent Tugboat off to camp. But did I hear that we're grateful for Sarah? Our new producer, Sarah Brown. So grateful. So grateful. Sarah Brown, best thing that ever happened to us. We love you so much. I am leaving. I think I sort of gave indication to, I don't know if you heard, I got a new job. I'm going to leave talking about that behind. But I also was starting to get just a little bit of senioritis, just a little bit like, ugh. Well, I'm out of here. And I don't want to bring that energy into my new job. So I'm going to leave doesn't matter to me, energy behind in this past week. And I'm going to reapply myself and start trying again in the new week.
There we go. Last week, you're gonna hit it hard. You had to take a little bit of a break. We love it. And Aurora and Elliot, welcome to the show. We're closing up here. You can share with us what you're grateful for or what you're leaving behind in this week. You're not taking with you. It does not serve you anymore, so you're leaving it in this week. I think what I'm leaving is, let me try to work this out loud as I talk here. I've been working on setting boundaries with people and asking for what my needs and wants are. I think what it is it's this idea about forgive and forget, but sometimes what you need is resolution, right? And so I'm gonna work on like getting things resolved or not being okay when things are not resolved. Sometimes like forgiving and forgetting is not necessarily just like enough, because did you resolve it? And so I'm looking towards finding, resolutions. I don't know if that's something that I'm leaving behind, but something I'm moving towards.
I'll take a moving towards. I also want to say, and I'm grateful for all these get on uppers. You guys, we've had such a good team this week. So grateful for all of you who are here. We're so happy to have you guys.
Had returners. Deborah, you've been here throughout the week. Amanda, so great to have you. Verona Verona joined last week, I think was your first week, and you came on back. We love that you're here. Hope you're enjoying the time. I'm gonna assume so because you're still here. Big thank you to Sunny, Bella, and Nathan, and sometimes Jennifer Lopez, a fan favorite, always here. Jenny from the block from New York. Cole, Doug from Ohio. Doug, it's been so great to have you back this week as well. Leslie, Hank, Kay, Elliot, and Tim as well. It's been great.
All the team.
Stacy was here for a bit. It was great.
It was great. Leslie, Hank, Elliot, you're brand new. We're so happy to have you. It's great. Also, Hank from Colorado. That's my dad's name. Dad, are you here? Is that my dad?
Did you tell your dad about the show? Hi, Renee's dad. I'm going to assume that's your dad.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Yeah, Hank's here. Hank's here, everybody. And maybe Peggy too. My mom. Okay. Who knows?
Hank and Peggy, thank you for watching. This is great. Well, thank you to not only Renee's parents for watching, but everybody else as well. We're going to be back on Monday. It'll be our first full week of Get On Up, we think. I think we're not going to do it the whole week.
Don't jinx it. Knocking on wood.
Renee, can you tell them what's coming on right after us?
Yes, I would love nothing more. I would love nothing more than to tell you
this is Renee tap dancing looking for the list. I've never heard you give so many I'd love nothing more. Usually you'll say one and then you're there. That was a lot.
Here she comes. She's found it. All right. After this, we have Anthony Davis, then your pal Hal, and Mario Smith. The Drive with Mario Smith, right? We'll come after that.
Yeah, that's it. The doc wasn't even open.
I know. I was done. Deleted.
Yeah, Friday. Renee's already signing off, mic off. And Tim, thank you for wishing us have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, everybody. In the words of Tim, have a great weekend. And don't forget, head on over to www.backchannel.tv and leave a review button, especially Renee's parents. Leave us a review. Be like, we're Renee's parents. We love the show.
Colorado is just like, I'm 15. I'm not Renee's dad.
Well, just pretend that you are and leave that review anyways. Even if you're not Renee's parents, leave a review. We'll love to hear from you. Thanks for watching Get On Up. I'm James Arthur M.
And I'm Renee Colbert. And you just
got on up.
Have